Enjoy the sweet opening of your shoulders and chest as you prepare for shoulder stand in this sequence by Richard Rosen. You'll need a block, an open back chair, 3 to 4 blankets, and an extra mat. If your shoulders are very tight, keep a strap nearby as well. Begin in a comfortable sitting pose. Inhale. Imagine directing your breath into the space behind your sternum, expanding your heart area. Exhale, slowly release your breath, maintaining the expansion in your chest. You'll begin to open your chest and armpits in this supported chest opener. Place a block at its lowest height horizontally on the mat, and a folded blanket 6 to 12 inches behind the block. Bend your knees, place your feet on the floor, and lie over the block so that it rests directly beneath your shoulder blades, resting your head on the blanket. Raise your arms straight up and gently rock side to side, widening your shoulder blades. Then take hold of each elbow with the opposite hand. Inhale and reach your arms overhead, resting your forearms on the blanket. Lower your front ribs down as you draw your upper arms back toward the floor. You can keep your feet on the floor, or for a deeper full body stretch, lengthen your legs forward and lift your shoulder blades more deeply toward the front of your body. Let your armpits open and your chest expand. Keep softening your lower front ribs down. To come out, release your arms to the sides of your torso. Bend your knees and bring your feet flat to the floor. Roll onto your side. Then press your hands into the floor to lift your chest up, allowing your head to follow. You'll initiate external rotation of your upper arms in Dolphin pose. Roll onto your knees and take your forearms to the floor. Place the block between your palms with your thumbs pointing up. Lift your knees off the floor, keeping them slightly bent. With your shoulders directly above your elbows, press your inner wrists firmly down and lift and widen your shoulders. Send your chest back toward your thighs. Press your thighs back, straighten your knees, and externally rotate your arms by lifting your inner arms up and around toward your outer arms. Draw your front ribs in lightly and soften the tops of your shoulders. Slow your breath, feeling your shoulders stretch and your chest expand. Lower your shins to the floor and sit in Virasana, hero pose, with your feet slightly wider than your hips. You'll continue to open your shoulders and chest by taking your arms into Gomukhasana, cow face pose, and then Garudasana, eagle pose. If your buttocks do not release to the floor, place a block horizontally beneath both sitting bones. Enjoy the increased range of motion in your shoulders as you stretch your left arm out to the side and internally rotate your shoulder so that your palm faces back. Take your arm behind your torso with your forearm parallel to your waist, then start to slide the forearm up your back. Raise your right arm up and reach back with your right hand to hold your left hand. If your hands do not touch, use a belt to bring them closer together. Draw your left elbow further down and lift your right elbow up. Soften the tops of your shoulders and your front ribs. Imagine your breath lifting and lightening your sternum and chest. Release and lower your arms. Inhale, lift your right arm out to the side, turning your palm to face behind you. Bring your arm behind your back, forearm parallel to your waist. From here, draw your forearm up your back. As your shoulder adjusts to the stretch, let your fingers slide up toward your head. Inhale, lift your left arm up, bend your elbow, and lower your hand to hook your fingers or use a strap. Keep your neck aligned with your spine as your right elbow lowers and your left elbow lengthens up. Breathe slowly and smoothly, expanding your chest and ribs. Soften and release your arms. And now you'll liberate the space between your shoulder blades by taking your arms into Garudasana, eagle pose. Stretch your arms out in front of your torso, palms facing down. Move your shoulder blades apart from each other. Place your right elbow on top of your left, then bend both elbows. Bring your right hand slightly forward of your left to wrap your forearms, and then your palms around one another. Start to lift your elbows toward shoulder height and press your palms forward to take your forearms perpendicular to the floor. Imagine your breath dissolving any tension from the space between your shoulder blades and behind your sternum. Release and lower your arms down. Lift your arms forward again, palms facing down. Widen your shoulder blades apart. Rest your left elbow on top of your right elbow. Then bend your elbows and interlace your forearms and your palms together. Lift your elbows slightly higher as you gently press your palms forward. Imagine your breath expanding the space between your shoulder blades, behind your sternum, and throughout your chest. Release your arms and rest them lightly on your thighs. Feel the increased sense of freedom in your shoulders and chest. Next, you'll use a chair to open your chest and shoulders in a variation of Purvottanasana, upward plank pose. Place a folding chair on your sticky mat behind where you were sitting in Virasana. Sit on the front edge of the chair with your feet flat on the floor. Wrap your hands around the back edge of the seat with your thumbs pointing out to the sides. Straighten your arms. Start to lift your pelvis, walking your feet into position beneath your knees. Inhale, press into your feet and bring your torso and thighs into one diagonal line. Press strongly through your legs and draw your chin in lightly. Widen your shoulder blades across your back and feel the expansion through your chest as your breath deepens. Slowly release back to sitting on the chair. Sit for a moment, feeling the exhilarating sensation of strength and opening in your shoulders and arms. Now you'll externally rotate your shoulders in a deep shoulder stretch. Sitting on the front edge of your chair, wrap your hands around the back edge of the seat as before. Slide forward and slowly lower your body and sit cross-legged on the floor. If the stretch in your shoulders is too intense, sit up on a block. Position your seat so your hips are directly beneath your shoulders. Lift the front of your torso as you externally rotate your upper arms. Widen the front of your chest and lower your front ribs to avoid collapsing in your low back. Take long, smooth breaths as you imagine your sternum lifting and spreading. Slowly lean forward to release your hands from the chair. You'll continue to open your chest in Salamba Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, supported bridge pose. Lie on your back with your knees bent and your block within reaching distance. Take your arms out to the sides, 12 to 18 inches from your torso. Turn your palms up and lift your inner arms up and around toward your outer arms. Press your feet into the floor and start to lift your lower torso. Place the block beneath your sacrum and tailbone. Start with the block at the lowest height. If your low back is free from compression here, adjust the block to a higher position. You can turn the block so that its horizontal axis aligns with the base of your sacrum for greater support. Or you can place the block along the vertical axis of your sacrum to deepen the pressure of your sacrum in your pelvis. Draw your outer knees away from your pelvis and your inner groins toward your pelvis. Firm your shoulder blades into your back, spreading them wide as the heads of your upper arm bones deepen in their sockets. Broaden your collarbones, expanding your chest with your breath. To release, press into your feet, lift your pelvis up, remove the block, and slowly lower your torso back to the floor. You'll now find even greater freedom in your chest and shoulders in Salamba Sarvangasana, supported shoulder stand. Roll over onto one side, bring your hands to the floor, and press yourself up to a seated position. Stack at least 3 neatly folded blankets with the clean edge of the fold on top of one another. Place the folded sticky mat on top of the blankets. Lie down so that your head rests on the floor, your shoulders rest on the clean folded edge of the blankets, and your elbows and upper arms rest on the sticky mat. Lift your legs up and over your body, taking your feet to the floor behind you in halasana, plow pose. Externally rotate your upper arms by lifting your inner arms up and around toward your outer arms. Shift the tops of your shoulders toward your sacrum without squeezing the shoulder blades into the spine. Bring your hands to your back, keeping your elbows grounded. You'll want to avoid overstretching your neck, so allow the fold of the blankets to support the natural curve of your neck. Walk your hands closer to your shoulders. Float your legs up toward the ceiling. Press the pinky finger side of your hand firmly into your back. Ground the weight of your outer elbows firmly into the sticky mat. Keep your weight pressing into the tops of your shoulders and your outer elbows pressing down. When your shoulders are open, you will feel your weight resting on the tops of them, not on your back. See if you can walk your hands down closer to your shoulder blades. To release, slowly lower your feet to the floor back in halasana. Bend your knees toward your chest and slowly roll your spine down. Roll off of the blankets and move them off to the side. Rest on your back with your knees bent, feeling the effects of shoulder stand on your body and your mind. Now you'll find the ultimate freedom in your shoulders, neck, and chest in Matsyasana, fish pose, a counter pose to shoulder stand. Still lying on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, lift your pelvis and slide your hands, palms down, beneath your buttocks. Press your forearms into the floor, lift your head and chest, and release the crown of your head onto the floor. If your head doesn't reach the floor, come back down and place a folded blanket beneath it, and then re-enter the pose. For a deeper chest opening, straighten your legs one at a time. Press your thighs down, press firmly into your forearms, and imagine your breath lifting and spreading your chest. On an inhalation, press your forearms back down into the mat and lift your head and chest slightly. Then slowly release your spine and head back onto the floor. Release your arms out to the sides. If your knees are still bent, go ahead and lengthen your legs forward one at a time to lie down fully for Shavasana, corpse pose. Externally rotate your arms and widen your shoulder blades across your back. Allow the heads of your upper arm bones to release heavily toward the floor. Let your legs turn out and allow your body to rest. Enjoy the sweet shift of perspective that comes with going upside down.